Book 3, Chapter 6, Listening. Good morning, class, Mr. Willis bellows in a joyful tone. Good morning, Mr. Willis, we all speak at once. Can anyone tell me the last good deed they did to make another person happy? I believe all good deeds include making others happy, or they wouldn't be good deeds. Baxter raises his hand. My grandmother is not feeling well, and she has a hard time when she is alone. So my good deed is reading to her. She likes me to read the local newspaper. That's a great deed, Baxter. Good for you, Mr. Willis exclaims. One of the girls who sits in the middle row close to me says that her good deed is helping a neighbor with yard work to pick up leaves. Everyone claps and cheers. The discussion is getting interesting. One by one, everyone shares a good deed, and it surprises us that we have all done something to help another. Sometimes, class, doing the smallest thing for someone can be the greatest thing in their life. Sir, a voice is heard from the back of the room. You didn't share with us your good deed. Mr. Willis ponders this, then says, I have a few to choose from, but I do believe the greatest deed I have done recently was to listen. Listen, a voice asks in question. Yes, listen. When people speak to me, with me, I make sure I am listening. Is that a good deed? Another voice asks. I think it is perhaps one of the greatest deeds one can do. So often, another just wants to share, to be heard, to know that someone is listening. And by listening, you are telling the other they matter. It may be a stranger, a family member, or a friend, but you are letting the other person know that they matter. We sit quietly, absorbing what Mr. Willis has shared as his good deed. We didn't exactly see it that way. Listening? Was listening a good deed? I then think about the times when I felt that I wasn't being listened to, or the times when my thoughts didn't really seem to matter to others. I suppose it is true. If they had only listened when I spoke, I would have felt much better. I would have felt important. What can our class do together as a good deed this week? Mr. Willis asks. What if we donate to the local second-hand store? What if we pick up the garbage around the schoolyard? Ideas keep flowing. What if we donate to the animal shelter where Finnan volunteers? Finnan, Mr. Willis asks, is the shelter in need of a good deed by a grade 6 class? The shelter always needs support, Mr. Willis. I know we are always looking for ways to raise funds. What about listening to others? A quiet voice peeps from the back of the room. Pardon me, Mr. Willis says. The voice speaks up with a little more courage. What if we listened to others? That's a great idea, but how would we do that as a group? We could go to the seniors' home and listen to their stories. Everyone sits quietly, thinking. I don't think that has ever been done, Mr. Willis says, pondering the suggestion as he strokes his chin. I really think you might have a grand idea here. I know people volunteer to help, but I don't know if people have ever volunteered to listen. Let me think about this brilliant idea for a moment. Another student adds to the conversation. What if we went there and shared our talents? Maybe Finnan's brother could put on the same performance as he did for the fundraiser. That seems to settle it for Mr. Willis. Okay, class, homework for tonight. Put on your thinking caps and think about the good deed of listening and sharing, and how we can combine that with contributing to the seniors in our community. Maybe we could incorporate the animal shelter as well. Don't just put on your thinking caps. Put on your great idea caps. Your generosity to others, Caps. And he goes on. Everyone gets the picture and is eager to come up with some good ideas. Out in the schoolyard, we all take our seats on the bench. It is getting cozy with now 4 of us. Baxter sits on the end beside me. He likes to have room to stretch his feet outwards and off to the side. Limerick still sits between Charles and I, but her main focus is Charles. And I can't blame her. He is smart and really funny, always sharing about the stories he will write about. I do believe, with all that he shares, he must have 5 books ready to be written. I think about Mr. Willis sharing about the importance of listening, and I remember the words my heart voice spoke before I fell asleep. Share words. What can I do where I can share words and listen at the same time? Baxter has been quiet. I ask him if everything is okay. His response surprises me. I'm okay, Finnan. It will work out. He mumbles to himself. I have to really listen. His voice is low, and I can tell he is troubled. What will work out? I ask. My family will be separating. What do you mean, separating? My mom and dad will not be together anymore. I sit in silence, not sure of any words to say. I can't imagine my family separating. I feel really sad. I can feel a pain deep down in my heart. Baxter, are you okay? Will you have to move away? I'm so lost for words. I'm not thinking clearly. No, Finn, I won't have to move, but my dad will be moving. He isn't moving far away, but he will be moving away from our home. As Baxter shares his news, my heart is in pain. I know this must be extremely difficult on everyone in his family. I will still get to see my dad. I'll just have to visit his new home. I'll have my own bedroom in his home, so I guess I will have 2 rooms. That will be nice, I say, unsure if it will be. Time will tell, Finnan. But for now, we are all working together for the best interest of everyone. I will miss my dad, and I wish my parents would just get along better. But they don't. In fact, it has been coming a number of years. I can see that my parents will probably be happier not arguing, but I don't know if I will be happier. I sit in silence, knowing that Baxter is very troubled. I listen to his words. I listen to the silence between the words. It's in the silence that I can feel the heartache. Things will work out, Baxter, I say as I nudge him with my elbow. Since Limerick and Charles have been engaged in their own conversation, they haven't been listening to ours. I pipe up to the whole group. My mom said it was okay to have game night this Friday. Is everyone in? Yes, Limerick shouts, followed by Charles, who is wearing a big smile. Baxter, will you be going? Charles asks from the other end of the bench. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm shy. But it would be nice to have some fun and meet Finnan's family. His little brother sounds fun. Don't forget about Paige, Charles says with a wink. She's a little older, but you'll really like her. Charles, stop, I say mildly, and wearing a grin of my own. Finnan's mother is really pretty, Limerick says, and his father is quite handsome. I think I will go, Baxter says as he sits up straight. It's almost as if he decided he will go just to take his mind off his troubles. Sir is going too, I say, still smiling. That's great, Finnan. It should be a great night. And it's pizza night. Make your own. We make our own pizza? Baxter whispers. Now that sounds really fun. I'm sure it will be fun. You can meet Sky Charles and Hemingway in person. That will be great, Finnan. They look so cute on stage. They are much cuter up close, I say. At that moment the bell rings and we head back into the school. As Charles and Limerick go on ahead of us, Baxter looks at me and thanks me for not having any judgment towards him. Judgment, I think to myself. Aloud I say, what do you mean, judgment? Judgment. I know how people can come to conclusions about others, and I just want to say that it is very nice that you didn't pass judgment. This is new to me. I had never thought about it before. I am perplexed that Baxter noticed. Perhaps others have passed judgment for him to know when there isn't any.